From the castles of Wingham to the halls of Effie, my deal. From Buck and Joe's, where all are welcome. The death of fear is here. The Wingham awakening begins now. Stand your ground, don't bow, don't hide. Square mile strong, with pride worldwide. The new Wingham order, and any woe. From fear to freedom, we let it show. Yeah. Jimmy and the Timbits thought they'd rule. A corrupt police force playing us fools. But the people stood tall, the truth was found. Wingham's heroes turned it around. Health board orders legalized, with perjury core and the courtroom eyes. Cowardly Reed couldn't take a stand, but the people rose, we took command. Well, stand your ground, don't bow, don't hide. Square mile strong, with pride worldwide. The new Wingham order and brand new hope. From fear to freedom, we let it show. My deal, the students rise. Heroes standing where justice lies. Protecting the weak, shielding the small. True defenders, bravest of all. Buck and Joe's, where the doors open wide. No racists, no bullies, no hate inside. A beacon of hope, a place to be. Square miles, heartbeats, liberty. Who will fight? We will fight. Who defends? Who defend? Who stands tall when the cowards run? Wingham strong, second to none. They tell us don't, then they force our hand. Eagles line, their fear commands. But we question the orders, we break the chain. In the square mile, freedom remains. Don't comply, don't waste your life. Do what is right when the moment's tight. Never bow to kings or thrones. We're the masters of our home. Stand your ground, don't bow, don't hide. Square mile strong, with pride worldwide. The new Wingham order, and woe. From fear to freedom, we let it show. What awakening! Liberty calls, the people rise, the tyrant falls. Glorious and free, the anthem sounds. Square mile rising, we stand our ground. Wingham, Canada's most famous square mile, where Buck and Joe stood their ground. Where students protect the weak, where freedom lives and fear dies. This is the new Wingham order.
Well, what's going on? Got another great show for you guys tonight. We got Buck from Buck and Joe's. He's going to be joining us shortly. Stefanos is in the green room. Stefanos, you want to come on stage?
All righty. It's not much of a stage, but it's great. This is good stuff.
All right. So, guys, before we get moving in and bring on our guests, this one's got small town corruption. And I've only been listening for the last 10 minutes about what's going on. There's sidewalk issues and snow removal. There's people at town council don't know what the hell they're doing. There's some that do, and they're twisting the system. Stefanos, what else is coming up tonight?
I don't know, Ed. We're just going to let it fly. We'll have Buck. Yeah, this is really interesting. I'm actually really happy because of the things that I heard is a big problem throughout many municipalities of the elected idiots that don't know what the hell they're doing, and they just listen to what staff tells them what to do, and it shouldn't be that way. Staff's there to assist, but not to tell you what to do. That's a whole different story.
Okay, before we get going, some people have never heard of Wingham, and just in case you haven't, this is the town of Wingham where I guess you guys got to update Wikipedia. It's not too far from Grand Bend. Grand Bend is up here. You got Sarnia down here, and this is Lake Huron, and Wingham is right around here somewhere. I wish I could give you guys a better map, but it's a last minute thing. And it's pretty much farm country. So, small town. Nice older town. I was there briefly. As we used to Stefanos. I think we had lunch there. And what do you think of the town initially?
It's interesting. This is, there's a lot of little towns around. Kind of reminds me of back home, but yeah, they're nice towns. I like historic stuff. There's a lot of history in these places. History that Canadians don't know about, obviously. But yeah, it's a very nice town. I like it. But doesn't mean that who's running it is nice. You never know.
Oh, we got a satellite maybe. Maybe we can bring the satellite up. Yikes. All right. I'm going to share this screen so people got a good idea. Wingham comes up. Just bear with me, guys, here just for a second. I'm doing this on the fly. All right. So, just so you guys know, this is Toronto, obviously. We got Barrie up here, just on the side of Lake Simcoe. Wasaga Beach. Right up here is Sault Ste. Marie. Ottawa. Ottawa's out here. You got Windsor down here. This is Sarnia. And right there is Wingham. Right in the middle of farm country. Apparently snowmobiling gets really good out there. Just so we know what we're talking about. So from here, Wingham to Markham is a good 3-hour drive. Usually come across here. Orangeville, down the 400. That's the way I go. So now we know where Wingham is. Let's bring in our guest tonight, Buck, owner of Buck and Joe's Restaurant in Wingham. Hey, Buck.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Just trying to give a little bit of a introduction of where we're talking about here, what's going on. Stefanos, I'm going to let you take this one tonight.
I can't stop smiling. That's just from what I heard. I can't stop.
You hit it on the head. Town staff are in control is the problem. They're directing council. It's understandable. We replaced council before. You get a whole new council. It's like the first day on a job somewhere. They show up. They don't know what they're doing. The only people to ask are town staff. And that's why that culture always persists, even if you replace them all. Because councilors we have sitting now, typically a councilor's never even been to a council meeting before they're elected. They haven't watched one. They don't have a clue what's going on, how to make a motion. So
They don't
they just naturally turn to the CAO and do what they're told.
a lot of the times they're not even from the area. We ended up in Pelham. We ended up getting this CAO that they went and pulled out of I think it was 100 or 200, just a CN rail town, and brought him into this big place. They bought him a house, moved him in, and everything. Guy ain't got a clue about anything. Nobody knows anything about him. But on the way
Well,
out, he's being a pedophile. So there you go.
oh, yeah. Part of the problem a few years ago, is probably still going on, is all the CAOs be rotating every couple of years, and there's a consulting firm that would be doing this rotation interviewing process, and they charge about $20,000 frickin' dollars to sit in on an interview and ask questions. Then they hire the next CAO and hire the frickin' same firm again, and they're just swapping them around, and you're going, well, you paid your 20 grand to get your list of questions the first time. You should have learned your lesson and remembered them. But everyone's getting a cut every time they're changing, and they're all sunshine list guys, right? And they just keep rewarding failure. The more they screw up, the more meetings, the more money they make, the more mileage they get. If they get the meetings around here to go over 2 hours, they get bonus money. So it's comical when it gets around about hour and a half or so. You used to see them trying to drag the fucking meeting out as long as possible to get that 2 hour mark bonus money, right? It's not like they're there to discuss clearing the sidewalks or lowering taxes or filling the potholes or anything that's relevant.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And actually, that pedophile CEO we had, they ended up they shoveled him up to I believe it was Oakville. So it's just keep him in the rotation. He could go molest somebody else somewhere else, and this is a big
We had
problem.
a Wingham auxiliary cop that was a pedo, and he got busted. And they wonder why the kids didn't come out, because he got away with it a long frickin' time, right? And everyone's complaining, not everyone, assholes are complaining, why didn't the kids come out and complain and stop him sooner? And you're going, this guy is freaking literally being escorted around town in a cop car, beside a cop, wearing a cop uniform and everything. So who are the kids going to call, right? The other guy in the cop car. So they get away with this crap, right? And the cop that was smacking his woman around, who's she supposed to call? Right, his buddy, so they can come take a turn. So she ends up leaving the province, which is, I've heard that story a lot of times. That's the only way you can escape it. You gotta freaking leave the province.
Okay, Stefanos, if you could explain to people what the responsibilities of a CAO are under the Ontario Municipalities Act, or a CEO, and what is that?
You're going to put me under the knife here, Christ!
Right
I don't
under
know.
the microscope.
Look, so I'll put it in a nutshell so everybody can understand. The CEO is just the head of a corporation. The elected are supposed to be the representative of the people, and the elected are above the CAO. They are above the staff, because staff is just to run the business end of things. And like I said, when you're at meetings and you hear them refer something back to staff, that their only job is to bring them more information if the elected are not, if the councillors and mayor are not clear on something. So there's two very defined paths and avenues. And what's been going on for the last several years is, if staff has subscribed to the United Nations municipal primers, which a lot of them have, you should actually check that in Wingham and see if they've got a membership to the United Nations municipal primer.
I don't think there's anything as nefarious or anything widespread here. It's just complete apathy.
You'd be surprised, though.
Wanting the system. Well, it could be, but I highly doubt it. If I've been watching this for the same show for a long time, you know who the dipshits are in charge, who the prosecutors are, who the cops are, who owns what frickin' land. everything, right? It's freaking corrupt. They
So
sold off
what?
our airport, 77 acres. They sold it off to the Hodgins family. 77 acres for $200,000. This is during the peak real estate thing during the apocalypse there. Vacant lots were going for $250,000, $300,000, and you could have had hundreds of lots on this. But it went to an insider, right, for a fraction of, well, 200 grand by his diddly. And of course, the lawyer that signs off on it's my nemesis, the guy that would try to prosecute us. He works for Town Hall as well. They're all interconnected, and there's no UN bullshit here. It's just an old boys club. They all got each other's backs. There's all just purely local interest around here. And the bigger cities, that's quite likely. I have no idea. But around here, I think the odds of that are as close to zero as you can possibly get. Because like you said, you know who owns the land, you know who's getting their severances. And you'll see the severances around here are all bullshit as well. Because they'll bring in the Huron County planner. They'll say you can't possibly do this. It goes against all your rules and bylaws and all this. You can't possibly do that. Then they go to vote on it. A councillor gets up, oh, I've got to recuse myself because it's my property. And they all vote to pass it. Then you're going, why did you bother bringing this Huron County person in for this? It's clearly just a puppet show. There's no UN, no bullshit involved there. It's just them covering their own asses, taking all the land that they can get, getting it in their names. And it's local families doing it here. If it was some UN-based names or organizations taking over the land, I'd say that's a possibility. But like in Markham there, I couldn't have a clue what the hell's going on there. But here, Wingham is literally under a square mile. So it's a lot easier to see what's happening than like Markham. Holy crap. What's your population? That's like the other side of Toronto, wouldn't it? It's
yeah,
just
we're
humans, man.
it's about 400,000 here, and it takes about 15 minutes to cross. What? I speak Chinese very good now that I live in Markham. Anyways,
Don't even get me going, Ed.
okay, let's get back to what's going on.
We got McDonald's and Tim Hortons, and that's as big as we need to get. We got like 6 pizza places for some freaking reason. But
okay, so the CEO is usually hired for a term of 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, whatever the contract is. The chief executive officer, they're like the leader of the corporation, and in your case, they hand out policy day-to-day operations. You know, watching the books, making sure people are getting paid. They hire lawyers on contingency. They take care of the operations of the sanding and the parks and the basic sewers and the water, make sure people are getting paid, make sure that everything's kept up to snuff. It's a day-to-day operations.
Yeah, he's the head of the organization. He's in charge of everything. The big boss man, answerable for everything. And council's basically set up as a board of directors. Originally set up there to be our representatives, to stand between us and the king taxing us. They're supposed to represent us and have our backs. But they don't. They've got town staff's backs, the opposite of what they're supposed to be doing. So there's 444 municipalities in Ontario. If you check the list, there are 426 municipalities that are cheaper than North Huron, than Wingham. So if you're looking for an affordable place to live, and you've checked out 425 other cities, frickin' come check out Wingham, because they were the next affordable after you. Those other 425 didn't make your cut.
Yeah, but hang on. You guys are so expensive because your city streets and sidewalks are paved with gold, aren't they?
By gold, you mean potholes, right?
No, I mean gold.
We got some of the best potholes. I don't know where they're getting them, but we got an ample supply. They are premium based. I got photos. We had a flip flop in a pothole for almost a year. Go by it, and because they're not maintaining anything, they went down, patched potholes on the street, missed this, and Yeah, it became an integral part of our infrastructure. It's just complete neglect. Like I was complaining at the council meeting, the flag at the cenotaph been tattered. It's wrapped around the pole since about Remembrance Day. Remembrance Day, Novembrance, whatever you want to call it. And they don't give a crap. I'll take a guaranteed if I take another video, put it online, it'll be replaced within hours. But getting a little tired of having to frickin' do that. Town staff go by plenty of times a day. The fire chief goes by. He's in charge of property standards. He goes by plenty of times a day in his brand new frickin' pickup truck that we're paying for. You can look out his frickin' tinted window once in a while, see what's going on. But guess he's busy.
Well, Ed, I think you're onto something. Pots of gold, so they could be, potholes or like pots of gold. They can get their buddy paving company to come in and fill them in, and somebody might get a kickback. Not saying that they're doing that, but that would present them a perfect opportunity to do something like that if they wanted to. So, who knows why they let it go to hell? Obviously, I know they're not dropping any salt or sand down, not that I've seen anyways. Who knows?
When they do the potholes around here, they'll throw in a couple shovels of, this is the entire process, throw in a couple shovelfuls of cold patch, toe tap it on a good day. On a really, really good day, they'll drive over it once. And that's it. And there's no hole prep. There'll be frickin' snow, ice, leaves in the hole. And, well, you need something to do next week, too, after it all comes out again, right? And they couldn't give a crap. There's no accountability. You can't ask questions. Half of them don't have job descriptions. They make it next to impossible to have any kind of accountability. And they come up with whatever rules they want, whatever BS bylaws. They lie to you, say they apply to your private property, come up with whatever fines they want. And if you refuse to pay, they sell your house. Now, I think if someone claims to have that kind of authority over you, you should be able to ask them a question. If anyone disagrees, well, you're probably fucking Russian.
Yeah, for sure. You should be able to ask questions. That's the whole point. That's why they're public. They can't hide stuff from you. If they start hiding stuff from you, it's time to go play in the courtroom. It's incredible what municipalities are doing lately.
It's almost like they've never heard of the Municipalities Act.
No.
It's twisted. It's intentional conflation. It's like their bylaws. They say this bylaw applies to the entire township. And you're going, okay, yeah, I agree. Please define township. Oh, the corporation. Define corporation. Oh, stuff the corporation owns. So it only applies to your corporate assets. Yes, it only applies to our corporate assets. So it doesn't apply to private property. No. There you go. Now, we got CAO to admit that. Now we got a new CAO. But as soon as we get someone on board like that, they end up going away for whatever reason. Bylaws refused to come in force after a few chats, and now they switched to having the fire chief. We've stood our ground. We've told them they don't have authority on our private property. And because they're claiming they can come in to Buck and Joe's and confiscate any sign, anything that has the phrase "Vote Buck" on it, because they've deemed that illegal and political. I'm going, it doesn't work that way. And if you do, you'll be treated the same as any other burglar. Then you explain private property rights and they stand down. And it happens. You just need to stand up to these people. People don't realize it. They've got no more authority over you than any other service corporation. If Bell Canada comes to your door, knocked on your door, and says, "Hey, buddy, you're not allowed to have a chicken," you would laugh, tell them to piss off, and you go, "What the hell are you on about? You're the frickin' phone company." But somehow, if the water and sewer company shows up, but they'll bring a cop with them or a frickin' guy in another costume, fire chief or some other bullshit, right, for complete the frickin' puppet show. So everyone just wants to comply, and even ones that know that it's wrong. We've talked to people that they cave in because it's just not worth the battle. They've got to go to work. They can't go to court. They're not going to destroy their lives to have a chicken that they barely want anyway. But then there are some people that don't want a chicken and are going to have one just out of frickin' principle. But now you're allowed to have a chicken and wing them, I guess. They got rid of the animal control bylaw. But there's still a report of bylaw going in and going after someone with a pet pig, and which is what they're doing is illegal. It'd be the same as if you went knocked on someone's door and says you're not allowed to do this, and you harass them and threaten them, and you'd be criminally charged. Bylaws got to realize they're in the same boat now. You can't go harass people. You can't solve neighbor disputes just because you've been doing it in the past. It's not right. Taxpayers shouldn't be footing the bill, because that's basically what it is, neighbor disputes. Now, this person with the pig, if the neighbors complain, they complained to town hall and they went and bothered the property owners, right? But if the neighbors have a complaint about noise, take them to court. Explain, call the cops, call 911 and say a pig snorted half an hour ago, disrupted my lap, and my whole life is disrupted and destroyed because I thought I heard a lightly pig grunt a freaking half hour ago. You see what the cops do when they show up. They're going to do piss all. There's been no offense. If you're interfering, if it's not a criminal offense, then you got to take them to court yourself and try to prove to the judge that they're destroying your freaking life. You foot the bill, you hire the lawyers, you deal with the process. It's not a town hall problem. Town hall likes to think it is, because town hall is right now spending at North Huron 70 grand a year on bylaw enforcement. And I can guarantee you all that is spent on targeting private property. They're not enforcing, because I asked for property inspection reports, right? We got property standards. We have a property standards bylaw enforcement officer. Where's the reports? They should be going around inspecting things on a regular basis. They got a list of things to look for. They're not doing it. They've convinced our council that they're not allowed to do that, that they only go after, it's complaint driven, they say, and they only go after private property. So when someone says neighbor's got a pig, then they use their bylaws for their corporation and just screw people over because they can. It's fun. It's fun.
I slapped up the town of Pelham, their bylaw officer, and the town itself for my parents while they were out of the country. And yeah, they found out real quick. I laid charges on the bylaw officer for trespassing, went past my gate, my chain that I had across, all on video. So laid charge. Then they had one of their kangaroo court hearings. I really didn't participate. I just told them what they're doing is unconstitutional. I'll be bringing a constitutional challenge. That was about the end of it. Then, of course, they put me, and I only did that because the editor of the paper had told me that they told her no matter what I say or do, they're going to put an order on me no matter what, because they don't like me. I'm a landowners association person, so they don't like that. And I immediately appealed to divisional court, and this day before divisional court came along, what happened? They called me up at 6:30 at night to make a deal. Let's make a deal and make this go away, because they knew they were screwed. It was going to be a shit show for them. They would have got their shit pushed in, and they would have been paying out a lot. So I always say bylaws make bad neighbors. Bylaws make bad neighbors, and fences make good ones. And that's how being neighborly with each other is the best way to work things out. You don't need some stupid corporations like going to Canadian Tire and saying that I don't like the color of Ed's shoes when he cuts his grass. They don't match the grass, so Canadian Tire is going to go spank him for me. Ed, you're muted.
They never do. I don't have any green shoes. Anyways, Buck, what's going on right now with snow removal? Tell people what your fight is with the town over the snow removal on the sidewalks. And we're talking about sidewalks in the downtown core in the town of Wingham, which is just up the shoreline from Sarnia. Go ahead.
Well, for quite a few years, they've been dumping snow. When they clear the roads, they're dumping snow directly on the sidewalks. It's not like in the city where we have a big boulevard. If they clear the snow, they can dump it in other corporations' property there. They don't need to dump it directly on the sidewalk. But they're doing that, and they're not cleaning either street, either sidewalk on. So basically, you have to walk in traffic to get to school. They've got a bylaw that says they're not allowed to dump snow on their sidewalks, and they're claiming they can't enforce it, their bylaw on their property. So it's a bit of a sticky issue that we're working on right now. Is where does the bylaws officer authority extend to? Is it private property or is it the corporation's assets? And when you ask the Reeve, and he's there consulting the CAO, and they can't answer that question, that's got to be a red flag to anyone that's conscious.
Stefanos, what's the job of a Reeve?
Reeves, they call them lords.
The same as a mayor.
It's the same thing.
They don't want to be called mayor, because if you're called mayor, people know you're supposed to have authority. So here they like to be called Reeve, because he can just say, they've always in the past said, well, I'm just the Reeve, I can't do anything. But and then people go, oh, you're just the Reeve. But it's the same as a mayor. They got the same authority. Like he's going to say, their job in a council meeting is to chair the meeting. It makes sure everyone has a say, and that the councilors are representing the people they're actually supposed to represent.
Point of order.
But yeah, they try to conflate it with. Go ahead.
You're supposed to say, point of order denied. Shut up. Anyways, back to the sidewalks. We got kids. Have any kids been run over yet?
A few years ago, an empty stroller was hit. Thankfully, it was empty. I clearly don't hear about all the slip and falls. Last year, John slipped and fell, an old guy in town, broke his hip. He lives on the second floor. He ended up dying like months later. To be fair, he didn't have 20 years left in him. But he had way more years left in him than he enjoyed. It clearly contributed to his early demise, and his last couple months were clearly just pain and suffering, right? I went to town hall last year to complain about this shit, and with the mayor there, and literally the next morning, the first time after all the bullshit I've done in town, is we had a frickin' window smashed. And sure, it was just a coincidence, right? But if people are frickin' dying and suffering.
So here's these property standards bylaws, clean yards, bullshit, this kind of stuff, tall grass. So have you heard of anything as stupid as this? Maybe you have. It's rule. So this bylaw that I had the battle with for my parents, I had a sit down with her once. Actually, I recorded it. I got some. I should start playing these recordings again sometime. But they were going on about the grass, which was 2 inches. I literally measured it 2 inches, and the bylaw said 12 inches. And it was a neighbor that had an apartment building that was causing all those problems, who was friends with the bylaw officer. And remember, they're all clearly connected. And so there was no issues regardless. And so I'm sitting down with her, and she's sitting there telling me, I'm also the bylaw officer for West Lincoln. And I said, oh, really? And I said, so you're going to come out to our farm in West Lincoln and try to tell us to cut the field down because the weeds are way up 3-4 foot high? She's like, oh, yeah, I'll get down there. I said, you're going to get us to cut all 78 acres down? Oh, yeah, you'll cut every one of them. You can't have any weeds. You can't have tall grass. And I said, I want to see you come down. I'd like to see you try, see what happens to you. She never ever showed up. But I did get her ass shit canned from that town after I was through with her in the town.
I thought you were going to turn her into cutting your hayfield for you and baling it. Shit.
I should get her out there to do it, huh?
Yeah, the nerve that people think that having to ask for a chicken is a thing. It drives me mental when someone asks, are you allowed to have a chicken in town? I go, of course I am. I'm a fucking adult. I'm over 18. I don't need to ask anybody. It's why do you think you need to ask? In the old days, you were expected to have a chicken. You're supposed to have a little victory garden, war garden, grow your vegetables, be self-sufficient in times of need, and have so many chickens per household. And they've miraculously convinced everybody that you're supposed to be dependent on them for all your food. You're not allowed to have a chicken. You're not allowed to have a garden on your front lawn in Wingham here. And people just gobble this bullshit up for some reason. They're afraid to make their own decisions, and just whoever's going to tell them what to do, they just seem to freaking listen and follow along. Stick their arm out, take the freaking shot, and they'll do it. It's clearly been proven. Don't do drugs unless it's the government saying stick your freaking arm out and let me stick a needle in it, right? But
yeah, it's the old go along to get along bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's not the collective. You're right, Ed. It's the individual. So that what you said about not having a garden in your front yard, it clearly reminds me of those site alteration bylaws they started bringing down in Niagara. That bullshit Fort Erie. They actually went after a lady for having planted tomatoes or cucumbers. I think it was tomatoes, or it might have been cucumbers. But they went after her under the site alteration, saying you've planted this garden now, you've altered your site. Go pound salt, go piss off. This is a right you have. It's a God-given right to sustain yourself with your own food. It's crazy, but that's communism, right? Control the food, the land, the water.
There's a guy in North Huron here who had a bylaw go after him because he lives by the creek and he was planting his little veggie garden there. And they said, no, you can't do anything on your property near the creek. You can't do that there. And you call bullshit because in Wingham here, North Huron, they filled in frickin' floodplain to put in McDonald's with no environmental studies or any of that bullshit. Why? Because they could end up taxing it. They could go after the little guy and say you can't grow a veggie garden because what the hell is he going to do? Big corporation wants to fill in floodplain? Not a problem. They had to redo the flood maps down where they filled in for McDonald's because it changed. They put in so much frickin' fill, it changed the flood zones. So now some properties have their insurances changed. They can only do one claim or no claims and no rebuild. Everything's affected, but they didn't give a shit. And that helped kill Josephine Street here. Another reason not to turn downtown. But Town Hall is a crown corporation set up to exploit our natural resources. It's not there. They all are. All levels, tiers of government are. Crown corporations set up to exploit the resources, natural and human resources, to their benefit so they don't have to frickin' work. They're not there for your best interests. They have a monopoly on cigarettes, tobacco, gambling, tax prostitution, tax drugs. They're not out for your frickin' best interests. They're there. It's a greedy fucking corporation. It's like if the mafia got out of fucking control is what it is. They take a cut of absolutely everything. And during COVID there, we fell through the cracks, so we didn't get anything from the government, right? But they wanted us to collect HST, even though we hadn't been paid in like a year. We don't, right? You don't make money all day. But if we sold a coffee, we're supposed to send the government some fucking money. And you're going, what they need this money for? We haven't been paid. They're not helping us. Why are we supporting them? But they ended up giving wage subsidies to McDonald's, right? 75% wage subsidies to these big corporations. And they wanted us little boys to fucking pay wage subsidies to the competition while we weren't getting paid. So, yeah, we still don't do the HST at Buck and Joe's. It's
no,
the mafia would take 10% of net, right? You got the governments here taking 13% of gross. Now, if the mafia or Russia or I don't give a fuck who wants to take over, they just want to charge 10%, I'm on board. And they allow me to ask a question, frickin' sign me up. If Russia invades, yeah, I'm not going to frickin' stand my ground and say, oh, I'm going to frickin' defend Carney. Yeah, I'll frickin' lead the convoy. He's over there, buddy. He hasn't had our backs, so why do we have his?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. Government is just a mafia. So taxation is theft. And the law enforcement are the henchmen that go around and have you at gunpoint if you don't pay your taxes. So that's reality. it's sugar coated by trying to make it look like you're voting for them, and the law enforcement's there to protect you, but it's not. It's extortion, taxation, theft. That's it. You're threatened at gunpoint. Pay or die.
Well,
So what are we going to do about it?
pay or lose your home, so you're not threatened with death around here anyway. But
Well,
pay
no,
or they take
but,
everything you have. That's right in the system. Screw you over with fees, fines. Most people, a lot of people, they get the maid service now, right? So the government benefits hugely from this. They drive your fucking mental until you want to kill yourself, and they'll help you do it. I was talking to an old lady here. She's missing a whole bunch of her old friends because they have a bad day now. And they just say they're tired of being sick, and the government gets to fucking put them down. Great pension savings.
And
right?
that's what I mean by pay or die. You're gonna fucking, it's at gunpoint. You're gonna lose. Not that they'll literally shoot you. In some cases,
You've got no say. You lose your. Yeah, they've got complete control over your life. So that's my motivation for standing my ground in my property. You want to take your country back? You got to be able to take back your own freaking backyard. If you can't stand your ground to own a chicken in your own fucking backyard, what good are you? And if these people out there that are worried about people saying the F word, if you're taking back your country and you're going to draw the fucking line at someone saying a swear, you're out there freaking toe to toe with these freaking corrupt people, and someone says a swear and you go, I'm going home. Well, I'm afraid you're not that much good to the fucking revolution, are you? People need to grow a fucking pair, stand your ground, don't let bylaw on your fucking property, cross the threshold. They've got no freaking authority. No more authority than any other service corporation. And I don't know if you guys can help people wake people up to that freaking fact. It'd be nice.
We at the Ontario Landowners Association been doing that for a long time. It's trying to get people to act that is the problem, and that's the common denominator in everything. You can help somebody with a problem with bylaw. You can do all this stuff you can, but at the end of the day, you can't get those people to fucking stand up and get a backbone until it's too late. Then they're crying. Then they want to stand up.
That's why they need people like us. We're literally taunting bylaw enforcement to come and enforce. I got the freaking flag saying fuck bylaw enforcement flying. I got the fuck Paul Heifer flag flying. Sign in the window saying if these signs are still in the window, it's proof that bylaw enforcement has zero authority on private property. It did the same with the health department. I was telling our customers, get the health department to come in here. I have got questions, right? Because they wanted us to do that mandate, literally stand on my street corner and say, show me your papers. Show me your freaking driver's license, photo ID, and health information. I'm not going to do that. I don't know if you guys would be okay going down in the fucking history books as being one of these guys. Show me your papers. But this is shit my history teacher warned me about in high school. And I wasn't going to participate. And yeah, people just need to frickin' stand their ground. I asked the health department if they had authority to ask anyone in the restaurant in there for their information, and they said they didn't have that authority. Then I asked them, then if you don't have that authority, you can't bestow that authority on me, can you? They said no. Well, I said, good, we're on the same page. No one has the authority. You don't have the authority. You can't fucking give it to me, so don't ask me to do it. So we shut our restaurant before the compliance deadline, and they still fucked us over. Dragged us through the system to make a point.
JJ.
Go ahead.
JJ, no, they're not laws. Bylaws are regulatory. They're not legislative, even though a lot of idiots in municipalities think they're writing legislation, which they're not. There's court case after court case that state bylaws are regulatory, not legislative. So it's not legislation. It's not law. So they can go pound salt.
Their corporate law is what they are. They're the same. Every corporation has a set of bylaws. I've got a corporation. Lots of companies do. You have your own bylaws. They're for your governance. It's not. They don't extend to your customers, and they claim that it does. If you're renting from your town hall and everything, if you're renting property from them, then those property standards will apply there. Because that's their property and it's their rules. But if they're not on the deed, they don't have any freaking authority. And people still got trained up with this, and it's either fear or ignorance. I don't know what it is.
Now, to prove your point, I don't know, Stefanos, remember when when they were during COVID, we were out in Mississauga. There was that gym, and there was a bunch of people that were going there to work out.
Huff's Gym.
Huff's Gym, yes. Anyways, we had heard that bylaw was going to come down and shut them down. And sure enough, around 7 or 8 o'clock during COVID, you got half a dozen bylaw officers, you got half a dozen regular cops, and then you got one guy who's driving a $150,000 pickup truck. And this guy was dressed to the nines, and he was talking to the bylaw officers and the cops. I never did find out who that guy was. But I snuck outside. Everybody else, they closed the windows, covered the windows, locked the doors, and they're inside working out, eating. There's a bit of a party going on, clearly violating the bylaws of Mississauga. So I came out there. I snuck out the back. Cop cars everywhere. They could, oh, this is going to be good. So the bylaw officers are there. So I started asking questions like, what are you guys doing here? You're not planning on illegally entering a private property or a private business, are you? Silence. Says, you guys aren't here to enforce bylaws, are you? And one guy looks at me and says, well, actually, we are. Says, can I have your name and address, please? I says, nope, it's after 5 o'clock. I don't answer questions after 5. They weren't happy about that one. So the big guy with the expensive pickup truck, he starts getting red. And then I start asking the bylaw officers.
Between 9 to 5 either. There's a great video on YouTube on how to survive a traffic stop, and this guy does that. I don't answer questions. And the reaction of the cop is priceless. You got to watch it for that because it drives because the cop knows the guy's within his rights, but it's just pissing the cop off that you just stand your ground, know your rights, and you'll be fine. Unless you got a dirty cop, then you're pooched. And there are quite a few of those around here.
Yeah. So anyways, to make a long story short, I was basically lecturing the bylaw officers that were in front of Huff's Gym, trying to figure out what they were going to do. And there's half a dozen other Peel Regional cops standing around saying, oh, just so you know, nobody in here works for the city of Mississauga. None of this property is owned by the city of Mississauga. Nobody here is an employee of the city of Mississauga. So your bylaws that you're going to try to enforce do not apply. Now, you can call me a lawyer, say I'm making it up, but there's been precedent set on multiple times that bylaws do not apply to regular citizens on private property. This is, if you got your phones out, you can actually look it up. The court cases are out there. The precedent's been set. So I don't know what you guys are doing here, what you plan to achieve, but look it up. And they're all staring at their phones. Yeah, go ahead, look it up. You're on your phone, Google it. And then the guy with the expensive pickup, he's getting like red, because he knew I knew. And then they're just standing around thinking, well, this is getting interesting, guys. I'm going to let you go. Escort yourselves off the private property, please, and go do your job somewhere else. And they're looking at each other saying, one guy keeps asking me, I want your name, I want your address. Says, I told you, it's after 5 p.m. You're not getting it. And the guy that was getting red was like freaking purple at this point. He waves everybody off. The bylaw jumps back in their cars. He gets in his pickup truck, speeds off, mad as hell. Huff's never got charged for bylaw infractions that night or any other night. So the point is, Stefanos, you want to phrase it for me better? Bylaws apply to.
No, you've done it great. But yeah, it's corporate, and it applies to the corporation, not to your private property. When you got Crown Land patent grants issued to your property, that removes all right, title, and interest of the Crown. So they have nothing there. And as a matter of fact, I've done a presentation to Conservation Authority because they're another bunch of cock knockers that are big pricks. And I brought that up right from M&R. M&R even states it on their website. So they no longer, when there's a patent issued, they no longer control use or planning of the land. That's it. It's gone. It's out of there. It's private property. It's private for a reason. If you get watersheds, floodplain designations from these idiots put on your property, those are constructive expropriation without compensation. So they have to buy your property. We sat on the Supreme Court of Canada lynch case, and that's what it comes down to. It's a expropriation, a constructive expropriation. We also sat on in the Supreme Court of Canada said, yep, it was Lynch versus City St. John's. We had the Annapolis case. These are all expropriations without compensation. So they cannot do that. They can't put those layers of restrictions on your property. If they do, demand that the town buy you out because they have now expropriated your land without compensation. If they say no, bring the case up, bring it to them, take them to court, make them buy your property. And it has to be at fair market value. And the other bullshit they tried, I believe, in Niagara-on-the-Lake, so a developer couldn't build. They were putting layers and layers and layers of different restrictions from different zonings and all this other stuff on the property, so they could buy it for pennies, which they got found guilty on that, and they got shot down in court. So, municipalities, bylaw officers, conservation authorities, they all need to go goodbye. Everything's got to go back to M&R. Get rid of these idiots, these NGOs, the not-for-profit corporations and charities and whatever they want to call themselves that make a huge profit.
Okay, so Buck, you were earlier before the show, you played the audio track for us. Can you play that again? Explain to us what's going on here.
Well, we don't really need that, do we? It's an ongoing issue. After the 15th would be more appropriate, I think.
All right, so what's going on? What are you going to do?
Well, there's a council meeting coming up on the 15th. If anyone can stop in and bear witness, that'd be nice. Could use people with video cameras.
That's a public meeting in a public building?
Yep. They claim you're not allowed to video record during the meeting or ask questions or make comments during the meeting. So pre-meeting, that's where the fun happens.
Stefanos,
so
we
you
gotta
get
go.
Well, I guess they're really going to love it when they get a load of me and Ed then. We're seasoned veterans at this, and they're going to lose. Pickering's in the finding out right now with Edster. Everybody else found out with Fred and myself and Petrowski and Haskell's. So they're going to lose.
The main thing right now is need your help. Someone is clearly obstructing bylaw enforcement. Someone is obstructing the law. There's absolutely no doubt about that. They're claiming they can't enforce their bylaws on their property under direction of staff or Reeve. And I just want it on the record who is actually obstructing here. If no one's obstructing, then enforce the frickin' bylaw. Next meeting, I want an answer.
Just so check out their bylaws and look at them. Look at their procedural bylaws. Those are always very important. You'll find in there somewhere, you'll always see when they create a bylaw, they always state that those bylaws do not apply to their property, which is exactly where they should apply. So that's the irony of it all. So they just simply say it doesn't apply to them, and that's it. It doesn't. In their mind.
Then whose property does it apply to?
Exactly.
The bylaw says, plain as day, at the top of it, that it applies to the corporation. That's it. It doesn't say it applies to the corporation's customers. Bylaw always stands down around here if you stand your ground, right? But the thing is, they got to stop freaking going and bugging people. They know what they're doing is illegal. We shouldn't have to spend our lives standing between the bullies and their freaking victims anymore. They got to start doing their job. We got them basically to stand down on private property here, right? Next step is bylaw enforcement's got to do their actual job and enforce their property standards bylaws on their property. So we're moving forward. But next step is, now that they've got nothing to do because they shouldn't be on private property, let's get them freaking inspecting our infrastructure and repairing it. Because the bylaw officers has the authority. He can tell towns to the public works guy, you're violating property standards bylaw, clean yards bylaw 3.18. You're dumping snow on the sidewalk. You have to remove that. You've got 24 hours. And if he doesn't remove it, then that bylaw officer can call up whatever freaking company he wants and have that freaking snow removed and make the corporation pay for it. That's his whole purpose. That's the final check and balance that we have when all the other town staff have failed to do their job, councils failed to do their job. That's when bylaw enforcement is supposed to come in. And that's why they have that authority to be able to do that. And they're refusing to exercise that authority or even acknowledge a freaking complaint on their property now. So I want to know who is obstructing the law here. And there's consequences, right? People's lives are negatively affected. I know one guy's life, like I said earlier, it was cut short. Last months in misery and isolation. Someone's got to do some crap. We're going to be old, and hopefully this shit's fixed before we're further victims, because it doesn't look like there's going to be anyone standing up for frickin' us, because, well, there's hardly anyone standing up right now, is there? If there was, we wouldn't be in the position we're in.
Someone's claiming that you're some kind of movie star.
Wasn't me. It's Buck. That's why I put the hat on, because I got trying to match Buck, but he's got a much better hat than I do. But
Dollarama. We went Burton for it. When Daniel Smith got in, we're happy as hell because she didn't suck. So this was a while ago, apparently. Because when she got in, she apologized for the way the COVID people were treated. So I go, fuck it. If people can identify as a freaking kitten or dog or freaking a different gender, if you can pretend that, I can pretend to be born in a freaking different province, right? So yeah, I identified as Albertan, got the hat, put up the Albertan flag, said fuck it, fuck Doug. Well, one of the reasons is I couldn't find a fuck Doug Ford flag at the time. So the easiest way to do it was I'm going to identify as Burton. That's one way to say fuck you, Doug Ford. So yeah, a couple bucks for the hat.
Yeah, what a disappointment.
Flag, Alberta flag on it.
Hey, Ed, if you flip on over to your private chat, you'll see there's a nice little link, courtesy of moi. Pull it up. Go to, I believe it is Section 8 of the Act, as scope of powers.
Alrighty, I'm going to start sharing this here in a second.
There's also a spot in the Municipal Act that specifically excludes private property. And where are you going there? Yeah.
You said Section 8?
Yep, scope of powers. You'll see it right there. And look, powers of a municipality under this or any other act shall be interpreted broadly so as to confer broad authority on a municipality to enable the municipality to govern its affairs as it considers appropriate to enhance the municipality's ability to respond to municipal issues. But you'll see, what's the key word there? Municipality to govern its affairs. So that's ownership. It's ownership. It does not own private property. Now, if you start going under scope of bylaw making powers, right, you'll start seeing to regulate, prohibit, respecting the matter, requires persons to do things respecting the matter, provide the system of licensing, respecting the matter. And it goes on and on and on. And then when you start getting a little further down, you'll start seeing the broad authority. They'll say powers of a natural person. Number 9, a municipality has the capacity, rights, powers, and privileges of a natural person for the purpose of exercising its authority under this or any other act. They have no power than you, I, or Buck, or anybody else. They are a natural person. Then you start going under broad authority, and they go under single tier municipalities, and you will start seeing again bylaws sub 2. Single tier may pass bylaws respecting the following matters: governance, boards, accountability. But look at number 4. And number 3, financial management of the municipality and its local boards. Number 4, public assets of the municipality acquired for the purpose of exercising its authority under this or any other act. So it is all pointed directly to the corporation and the properties they own. It
does anyone you come across, does anyone actually think they have authority on private property?
It states nowhere.
This seems kind of moot, really. Like you're preaching to the choir here.
No, I'm just.
We all agree that they don't have authority. Their papers don't say they don't have authority. Local bylaws don't. They say it's strictly for their corporation.
That's right.
I think everyone agrees that they do not have any authority on
right property. And I just do this. So
we need to be discussing what do we do when bylaw comes to our door.
Yeah,
give me 10 minutes while I scroll through the municipal act for you. It doesn't cut it. It's what do you do when you're toe to toe with the fire chief or the bylaw when he's standing at your door, and why did you answer your fucking door in the first place if you knew he was there? That's your first mistake, is you're under no obligation to answer the door or speak to them at all.
You're under no obligation to let them on your property either. I've just brought this up just so our viewers can see what we're talking. Like you, myself, Ed, we are already well versed in this crap, but they are not. So I just do that out of courtesy for our viewers to show them it's not bullshit what we're saying. This is what governs municipalities, and they know it. It's it's ownership. They don't own your land. They don't own Ed's land.
The biggest tool to screw with you is the conflation of municipality and corporation, right? If they changed all their wording to this applies to the corporation known as North Huron and applies to the whole corporation, but they keep interchanging municipality and township. And they're the same freaking word in their definitions. It's in the bylaw definitions. It's the same thing, but they switch back and forth. So you end up believing that it applies to a geographic area instead of the actual corporation. And they know they're doing this. It's their salesmen. They're fucking with you. That's how they make their living. Like I said, North Huron here alone spending $70,000 on bylaw enforcement. And that's going in the pockets of bylaw enforcement officers, right? That's where that money goes, is in their paychecks. And right now, I can virtually guarantee you that it's 100% going to private property. It worked out to about $1,600 per complaint that we were wasting on these freaking bylaw intervention bullshit. I think my neighbor has a chicken. Can you do something about it? Because I'm too big of a pussy to freaking go talk to them. Right? Go talk to them or get a fried chicken recipe. Figure it out yourself. It's not Town Hall's problem.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct there. It's not. This is best that you work out your issues with your neighbor.
Well, like you never call up Bell Canada or Hydro One and say, "Oh, my neighbor has a chicken," or "I don't like his fence," or "He's got a beer fridge." You wouldn't think of that, but somehow they condition people that Town Hall will somehow intervene, and
how about
they bowed down to it.
You're asking how can we take back our stuff? How about we just start calling fucking Canadian Tire and Bell and Enbridge Gas and start making complaints about Ed having a dog, another guy having a chicken, me having a cat, somebody having a pig. And
the cashier and just start complaining, and don't leave until they settle your dispute. That you say, "My neighbor has a chicken, and I'm not paying for this cart of stuff until you fucking settle my chicken dispute."
There you go. Why the hell not? It's no different than your municipality then, right?
Yeah, well, people try to express it that way to people so that they see the absurdity of bowing down to the water and sewer company, because that's all they are. They maintain a few of the public services that probably shouldn't be in private hands, and they're not doing a good job. Like, we have a 2% tax rate in Wingham here, which means if you have $1 million home, you're paying $20,000 a year in taxes. And now they're trying to get rid of garbage pickup on Josephine Street, Main Street here. The commercial properties here pay 3.6%. So $1 million assessment's $36,000 a year. So the businesses on Main Street here are paying a premium taxes for premium service, where they're supposed to clear the streets and pick up garbage. Basically what they're doing everywhere else, but for some reason they're charging extra. Now they're going to provide less services than they are to the residential customers and still charge almost twice as much. And most of the businesses don't know this is happening because everyone's left in the fucking dark, and you don't know about it till you get the bill or someone's banging on your door. It'd be nice if we used to have like a local newspaper, hard copy newspaper, and as soon as they all died, there was no accountability to any councils around here. After amalgamation happened, none of the efficiencies that were promised happened because all the senior staff that were getting the big bucks, none of them wanted to leave. So wages and salaries just ballooned, and that's why we have one of the highest tax rates in Ontario. And it's a tiny town. We have to pay to get rid of bags of garbage. It's $2.75. You have to put a little tag on the bag, and we'll take it. Most people can't afford to use the complex. We had raised money here. We raised like $14 million to build a complex, swimming pool, arena, all this bullshit. A lot of money was raised to build that.
Wait a minute.
It wouldn't be a burden to the taxpayers.
Did you only get
then they lost $1 million a year. Then everything they do just it fucking drives you nuts. And you can't ask a question. If you do, well, like I didn't ask a question. I was arrested because they suspected I was going to ask a question. Arrested under suspicion of going to ask a question. That's the fucking country we're living in here. And
under whose authority and what law?
I don't mean any disrespect by laughing, but that's the most stupid, fucking ridiculous reason for an arrest I've ever heard in my life.
Fake it till you make it, I guess.
Well, then the town staff that called the cops said we were refusing to leave. And you're going, oh, no, we didn't refuse to leave. No one asked us to leave, right? But the original thing was they thought I was there to ask a question because I set up a camera on a tripod because video recording during a meeting was illegal. So I got some cameras, set one up on a tripod. My camera had no batteries in it because I wanted to make sure it went to court. I'm not freaking lying. It was incapable. I was not possible for me to video record, right? So, yeah, and they all lied. Like, she said I was refusing to leave. Then a couple minutes before court, I get all these statements, right, from all the counselors and the Reeves saying I was refusing to leave, and all are quoting about the same thing. You're going, there's this thread here that's absolute fucking bullshit. And it turns out the town staffer that called the cops, lied to them. So she's in hot water. So she has to cover her ass now because you can get up to 2 years for doing that shit. So she has to cover her ass. So she's the one in charge collecting the statements from the counselors. She solicits them and submits them to the fucking cop, which supports her story, which I get like 2 minutes before fucking court. Then, they're all freaking lying. And if it wasn't on video, I would have been screwed. And they tried to disallow that video evidence at court because I brought it up during court. And they all go mental. And they're going, well, you can't do that. And I go, well, I just got all these statements here, like literally 10 minutes before court I've never seen before. Here's a copy of the video. Here's a transcript. Here's a DVD flash drive. It's on YouTube. And here's a transcript. Exactly what happened. And yeah, they lied. The Reeve lied on the stand. We proved that because the cop, and they coordinated their stories clearly. And the only way I could prove that is I had 2 people video record me the whole night. That's why at next council meeting, I would like more people with cameras. When we had our stand up with the health department, we put the call out and about 100 people showed up with cameras. And that was to cover our ass. They threatened to come back with the OPP, right? Men with guns, because we close. But our solution was, well, you bring guns, we bring cameras. And the cops just circled. They never fucking stopped that day. But the best defense against these people is a video camera. The truth is the only thing that is freaking keeping me free and can set everyone else free. And if you guys can make it at the freaking council meeting Monday and cover my ass, you don't need to say or do anything except bear witness and hit video record to see what little you have to do to fucking get arrested. Like I said before, I just went in, sat down with a t-shirt and a camera, and me and a buddy got fucking arrested. The other camera I got out was video recording, but it's just a fucking shit show, right? And the cop lies on the stand. He's the reeve, and the fucking prosecutor knows the reeve too, right? And so you're up against a fucking system where they're all goddamn buddies. So unless you can prove exactly what happened, even then, it took us 972 fucking days to clear our name, right? Basically, you go bankrupt doing this shit, and you're being judged by a peer. The judge is making 360 some grand a freaking year, right? He basically made $1 million while we sat there freaking waiting to clear our name in those almost 1,000 days. His paycheck almost totaled $1 million fucking dollars. And yeah, and we're in a system where we're being judged by our peers. I don't fucking, yeah. If you give me $360 fucking $1,000 a year, I'll let a fucking judge me.
Hey, it looks like all of us are getting arrested for videotaping the council meeting. Ed, who the freak's gonna watch the show or run the show?
Well, one time you heard here, guys. If we come out on Monday and there's no show Thursday, we're sitting in where's the jail there locally, so people can send us files and birthday cakes.
Well, you'll be going to Clinton for fingerprinting and stuff, and well, it depends how bad it goes. You could end up in London remand. I don't know if you're aware of all the crap that goes on and all the deaths and all that crap. I don't know if you're into the holding police to account too, but there's another fun ball of wax that you might want to join. Check out filmthepolice.ca if you get bored. Whenever a cop pisses us off locally, something ends up there. Because we got it on video. Cops fucking lie. They'll coordinate their stories. And there's a case around here where a kid gets pulled over. They yank him out of his car. Cop claims he smells weed. The kid's screaming he doesn't have any weed because he doesn't smoke weed. Cops clearly fucking lying, right? Just to screw him over and pull him out under the Cannabis Act, because they can say I smell weed, and now they have a claim to do whatever the fuck they want to, right? In their minds.
Well, actually, in their mind, you're correct. In legal,
so then the supervisor shows up, and she's questioning the guy about the why you pulled him over and all this bullshit, and why you searched him and why you pulled him out, cuffed him, and all this crap, and he said he smelled something funky, and I might get a bit of it wrong, but essentially the supervisor lady says, did you smell cannabis? No. And she says, say you smelled cannabis. Yes, I smelled cannabis. Then the cops all freaking laugh. Then they realize the video's still going. You see them reaching to freaking hit stop and delete. We get the video back. And I remember the next freaking day that went online around here. And so we get blamed for that shit, right? And by next morning, even though we stood up against a fucking dirty cop, there was about 350 complaints against us on Google and Facebook because all the liberal dipshits out there went after us. And you go, you clearly fucking lied, right? Then the next day,
hang on. We got to clarify one thing. We don't use the term liberal on our show. They're called communists because they're communists. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, pretty much all organized politics is. If you think one's better than the other, I want what you're smoking because this isn't kicking in enough.
Alrighty.
So,
anyways.
That's the correct website up there that you just said on the screen, the bottom of the screen. Filmthepolice.ca.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think one of the latest ones will be the C4 shooting.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just browsing through. Interesting.
Yeah, you can see that was the cop was clearly shooting the passenger, right? In retaliation for being, this is in Seaforth, not far from here. The passenger just happened to be someone who pissed the cop off earlier in the day, and the cop shooting the passenger side of the vehicle, passenger side windshield, and the passenger side window. Clearly, as the cop's trying to get the car is trying to get away. The victims claim the car was stopped, and the cops started shooting, and they got the fuck out of there. A cop says they were moving, and he had to shoot to try to stop them to save his life. If that was the case, he could have stepped out the way. He would have shot the driver, shot the engine block, shot a tire, lots of other reasons. There's the only reason you're shooting at the passenger through the front windshield and the passenger side is that's who you're fucking shooting for. And if that's not who you're shooting for, take the guy's fucking gun away, because that's a shit shot. It's three. You'll see the 3 bullet holes there, and a complete retaliatory thing, right? The SIU report, basically, they're saying, yeah, we don't really believe the cop, but what are you going to do? No charges, and it's over. And fucking clear as day what happened. But you'll see, if you go through the SIU reports, you'll see it's not very often that the cops actually will release their notes or comply with the investigation. So if cops don't talk to cops, why would you? Would they pull you over? They say everything you say can and will be used against you. Well, shut the fuck up then. We're not talking. Yeah. They warn you everything you say will be used against you. Why are you talking to them? Don't answer any questions. There's no upside to it. If you think you can say some freaking magic words or some crap that's going to sway them, not going to fucking happen. Everything you say will be used against you.
Oh my God! Hold on. Hashem, remember when I was talking to you about people who hold a knife or a gun to their head when police have them at gunpoint, and they end up shooting them to save them from shooting themselves. So
don't kill yourself. It's our job.
That's right. But I'm just reading on this website here. 1-year-old executed by OPP, only witness shot and killed by police. So don't leave witnesses. Don't talk to the police. That's how you get away with murder. 1-year-old was shot and killed by OPP.
The fucking car, right? They take a gun to a knife fight. That's a tip of the iceberg of the crap there. These are just occasional ones that piss me off that make it there.
Yeah, so this was
crap I got.
This was November 26, 2020. The only civilian witness was also shot to death by police. Listen to this fucking shit. The OPP claim they were trying to protect the child by firing uncontrollably at him. Says what? What sounds like a typical wellness check by the police you see on the news every week or so. We're the police. We're going to shoot you. Don't shoot yourself. It's our job. You're right.
Where are you seeing these wellness checks, man? Wellness checks, I remember that being a pre-COVID thing. Every week there was, I remember Indian chiefs getting the shit kicked out of them. Seniors being dragged down the frickin' stairs in BC. Every week, the news, CBC, there would be a frickin' some police accountability thing. They would stand up to them. After COVID, all that shit stopped. I'm pretty sure the police abuse didn't fucking stop. So clearly the coverage did. But now it's not even right to frickin' question cops when they're frickin' shooting toddlers or frickin' lying. Yeah, there's no accountability. You go, they investigate themselves, right? And it's the only job where you can shoot your boss and you get sent home with pay. If you're a cop, you get arrested, charged with something, you get your pay until you're convicted. So you literally can shoot your boss or punch your boss in the face and you get sent home with pay. Now, if everybody else could fucking do that, wouldn't that be a joyful world? But
look,
cops get to do that. Some cops that make $1 million waiting to go to court to get their name before they go to prison. And they're getting their freaking full pay. Yeah, crime doesn't pay. Bullshit.
Niagara Regional Police Service, there's a police officer that was raping little girls. So a 16-year-old said he'd pull over and shit. they brought him up at police service. Imagine that. They don't lay criminal charge on him. But hell, I think it was a 4-year suspension while waiting to have his hearing done. So he's vacation with pay. He earned another $450,000 while not working. And then the day before his hearing, he tendered his letter of resignation. So they couldn't proceed with the hearing because he was no longer a cop, and that only applies to police. And he got off scot-free and got all this money and no criminal charges. He got away with everything scot-free. NRP, look them up. I call them the Mozzarella Mafia because they were smuggling low-quality cheese from the U.S. along with...
don't need to look it up. There's so many freaking cases where cops do this crap, and they wait till the last minute, do the resignation bullshit. But literally, you can freaking murder your boss. You can murder your whole freaking detachment, and they'll send you home with pay. And you go on, well, that's not a good accountability system there. Someone should fucking tweak that a little. But and if you get convicted, you should at least have to fucking pay it back, right? But nope, don't think that's
yes. Good suggestion. If they want to keep paying them while they're freaking being investigated, if they're convicted, they should pay it all back. You're absolutely correct.
Well, if they're still getting paid, freaking go do some municipal work, clean a ditch or some damn thing. You're still on the fucking clock.
Ed, you're muted, man. We didn't hear a word you said.
Remember that gunsmith Katanko?
Yeah, Katanko was executed by them purposely. And don't forget, there was the shootout in Niagara, too, with the NRP shooting each other, the sergeant and the other guy.
So what happened with Katanko is he had been importing some specialty handguns, and he had sold a couple to a prominent politician whose son took one of those handguns and sold it on the street. That handgun was used to kill somebody that we still don't know who it is, and that's the end of it. Cover up. But Katanko had to die to do the cover up. Meanwhile, they confiscated all his guns, all his records. The kid that sold the handgun that was used in a murder, never charged, got away with it. But Katanko had to die for this cover up. We got to get his brother on the show one night.
That would be interesting, yeah. I believe they're still in the courts there somewhere, I think, in the civil end of things now.
All right, so we'll try to make it out there Monday night.
That's 15th.
Interrupting the show.
Ed, are you bringing your bone-crushing, very vicious dog Bubba to the meeting?
No, because town council might want to slander her again, just like Pickering town councilors do. So I'll try to keep her home. Yeah,
take a white walking stick with you. They won't say a damn thing.
I'm old enough. I can barely see anyways.
Well, there you go.
Anyways, what time? What's the location? What's the address?
The address. It's the old school. Yeah. It's a small town. It's Francis Street, I think. They leave the address conveniently off the agenda package. They used to have it at Town Hall. Then they moved it. There's a freaking story there.
Oh, you mean they don't even hold their meetings at Town Hall?
No. During COVID, they were doing meetings remotely. So town staff set up in council chambers to do some work and crap. And they didn't really like moving the tables around for council meetings, so council went upstairs to have their council meetings up there. Then staff's going, oh, we don't like sitting at tables. It takes us hours to do. I'm going, how the fuck does it take hours? It's like 6 tables you put on a stage. So they decided, because it was such an inconvenience to town staff, they spent $400 and some thousand to renovate a room at the old public school, so they have council meetings there. So, because they couldn't stand up to town staff and say, get the fuck out of council chambers. They can blow like over $400,000 for a more convenient council room. But they can't. Clearing our sidewalks, I got numbers out of them a few years ago. It was only costing us $20,000 a year to clear the sidewalks we're clearing in Wingham. It's under a square mile. It's not a big freaking town, right?
All I can say is you can't make this shit up.
So it stands to reason another $20,000 does the other side, half of the sidewalks, right? So they got a $20 million a year budget roughly and can't come up with this freaking extra 20 grand. But they can scrape and paint town hall. They spend 400 grand doing that. Another 400 grand for council chambers. They move there, but no money to clear the sidewalks. Right now, if I tell your kids to go play in fucking traffic, you would think I'm an asshole. If I force them to do it, I'm a freaking criminal at that point. And that's what they're doing. And they don't seem to realize it. What you're doing is neglect. You're not doing your job. It's mischief, endangering life. You're forcing kids to walk in freaking traffic during the winter, icy, sharing the road, narrow road with freaking traffic. Like, it's icy. Like, you don't have to be a fucking genius to know that's not ideal. But somehow they can't come up with it. But we're all paying freaking taxes. What time for the council meeting? Meeting starts at 6, at 10:02. Depends on strategy. 10 minutes is ample for. I can do what I want to do in about 5 if the public safety guy's there. The thing is, it's like a perfect storm. It's a new public safety guy. That's a new position, which happens to be fire chief, which is actually a decent person. It's going to be the first time that he's going to have to chime in on this subject. And we have a new public works guy too. So there's an opportunity where everyone can decide to clear the fucking sidewalks and save face. And I hope they realize that. If not, we have to embarrass the hell out of them to. Well, you guys are aware that our children are forced to walk in traffic. So if someone is injured, I will do one fucking massive guilt trip on you if you don't help. How'd you like me now?
All right, so 5:45, Wingham, the old school on Francis Street. Now, is that a public building or is that privately owned? We need to know.
Well, it's council chambers, so it doesn't matter. They control the space. It's treated as public property at that point because I think it was sold to the hospital, technically owned by the people at some level. But they're renting that space off of them. So it's the same as any other council chambers. Same rules apply, that it's their property, their roof, their rules. Whenever we do it, I refuse to break the law. If I'm asked to leave, I leave. It is their roof, their rules. It is trespassing if they ask you to leave. Just don't give them a reason to, or shut them down before they can get the words out, whatever strategy works. But you heard the audio from before. It's a good bit of fun, and to see the mayor up there just frozen, paralyzed in fear to answer a question. He doesn't know if his corporate bylaw officer has any authority on his own freaking corporation's assets. Like,
you guys check your private chat. I put another link up there. Buck, you should read that. This was last year. Read it for yourself. Get some pointers from that if you can, and use it. And I'll use it also at that meeting if I get a chance to speak.
well, we just need to get if I file an official complaint publicly with the new public safety guy, which is the new property standards guy, they've got pretty much no choice, but they either got to clear the sidewalks, or he's got to say who's obstructing, who's telling him where he's not allowed to.
Yeah, it's all right. We don't have to go through the article and stuff, but that's something you should pull out of there. And
Well, I was thinking of writing the bylaw the township.
I'll come by and have a coffee with you. We can discuss that further, and it's pretty interesting on how irrigate the municipalities get. But this is different. This is a private property owner pushing it on to public streets. Just replace the private owner with the municipality doing it. Same applies. Liability is there. We'll have a conversation. I'll stop by for a coffee.
There's been many cases in most provinces where the city has a bylaw where the adjacent property owner is supposed to be responsible for snow removal. Those bylaws exist in a bunch of cities. But the thing is, whenever there's a slip and fall in all the cases I've checked, those homeowners are listed in the lawsuits, obviously, because they think they can go after them. But the courts exonerate them all the time in every case I've read in all the provinces. Because the court basically says that's the corporation's property. They can't force someone else to maintain your property. The liability is with the township, town hall, end of story. You can't download that. Right. To a random fucking individual that happens to live beside it.
Correct.
So that those precedents exist. They know they have to clean these sidewalks and there's liability there. It's just they need to be shamed. They've been entrenched in this position where they're not going to do it because I offended them like 20 years ago. They need to be shamed on a level where it's the path of least resistance is clearing the sidewalks. It's got to get to the point where they go, you know what? I can't fucking deal with these people anymore. Why don't we just do the job we're paid to do anyway? And that's the pressure we got to put on them. But I think you guys probably want to go. Yeah, pop in the restaurant whenever you're in town. You can go over a strategy for a Monday. But I predicted, even though I gave council shit over the sidewalks and everything in the pre-meeting, as predicted, the Reeve 24 minutes into the meeting, I didn't predict the time, but he got up and he said what a great job they did cleaning the snow for the parade, which they didn't do. They left all the snow on the sidewalks and forgot to shut the street down and all that crap. But he was going to say it was going to be that's what he says every year, right? And it's just scripted. Whether he was there, saw it or not, he's going to praise town staff regardless of.
Sure.
Doesn't matter. It's because around here, the town staff represents such a huge voting block that if you don't have them on board, you're not going to. It'll be a miracle to get in because there's just too many people working for that corporation now.
Yeah. And sorry. Go ahead, Ed.
Okay, we're way over time, hour and 32 minutes. Guys, if you found any value in this, share it out. If you know people in the area that want to come to, knock it off. If you know of anybody that wants to come to the meeting Monday night, Wingham. I'll put it up again. The old schoolhouse on Francis Street. Let's see you there. And
old public school. It's not an old schoolhouse, but if you Google it, you should be able to find it. Like the town's only like 6 blocks by 6 blocks, so like I said, it's under a square mile.
All right, final comment, Buck, and then Stefanos' final comment. Call it a night.
Well, just hope you guys can make it at the council meeting. Applies. Well, you don't need to apply any pressure. Just bear witness. Just people they don't know in the audience freaks them the hell out. I got a few stories about that. It drives them mental. It sets them on a level of paranoia because they don't fucking know if you're with them, against them, anything. And they want absolute control. They always wanted you to sign into council meetings. Reason they wanted me to bow going into council meetings, right? They wanted everyone to bow. And I refused to do that. And I got everyone to not do that because it's fucking embarrassing. Why would you do that? Bow before another man? Then they wanted you to sign in and leave your phone number and shit. And yeah, so I'd sit by the door and tell people, yeah, you don't have to do that. It's just because it's there doesn't mean you have to freaking sign in. And people are interested. They don't question anything.
No, you gotta be kidding me. They're not making you bow. Like, okay.
Well, that was the thing. I saw town staff, a lady curtsy to them. She was doing a presentation. She giggled and did a curtsy. Most fucking pathetic thing I have seen. It's holy shit. Yeah, getting in shit. Like you're supposed to do that in court too, right? You're supposed to bow as you go in. And they were really pissed off that it wasn't bowing. So no, it's not fucking happening. But
No, that's-
people,
that's-
everyone else would just do it. Bend over, okay.
That's for
Whatever.
paralegals and lawyers. People don't have to bow when they walk into court, but they do have to stand when the judge enters. But, you know.
Stefanos, how's your curtsy?
Well, Ed, let me just see. Fuck.
Not working for me.
All right, thanks, guys. See you next week. And come visit us in jail, guys.
Nice seeing you, Buck. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm going to start raising bail